we're live.
Hey guys.
Okay, so very confusing right now. I'm hosting this from my laptop in a hotel. So for those of you listening right now, can you please let us know if you can hear Kaylee? So Kaylee, say something.
Yeah, this is super awkward talking to everybody but having to look at David.
Well, I guess we just have to wait 20 seconds until someone responds.
Yeah.
So while we're doing that, what's going on in your world, Kaylee?
It's Taco Tuesday. By the way, I'm in Arkansas. David's in Chicago.
Yes.
This is our first time doing a live with like road, so you have to bear with us trying to figure it out.
Yeah, the my both of my phones don't have good enough service, and people are
Yeah.
saying that we need to yell. Okay, let's see. Maybe can you turn the volume up? Because I'm about as loud as I can be.
Me?
No, everybody else.
Oh. I tried to set it all up here, but David's computer screen is broke, and to do the live it requires two screens, so we're making do here.
We're doing as good as we can. Anyways, so what's going on in your world, Kaylee? Let's just start it off.
Well, fixing to make some tacos for Taco Tuesday.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you really making tacos?
Yeah, I'm making tacos.
I like it.
Yeah, making homemade tacos.
Very cool.
Like homemade tortillas. Just kidding. Tortilla. And wobbly.
Cool.
Mexican.
Very cool. Okay, so what the Kaylee? I'm having a hard time hearing you, kind of breaking up. Are you? Can try and say something.
I'm here. I can hear you fine.
Okay. Are the other devices off the Wi-Fi?
All.
Okay. Well, we're just gonna roll with it. Okay, so why don't we do this? We're gonna do a short one today, maybe like 30, 40 minutes, and then get to posting and uploading the podcast for tomorrow morning. So, Kaylee, why don't you update, because we have a good amount of viewers on right now, why don't you update everybody on your schedule for being up in Ohio?
Oh yeah. So the SCTP Nationals is in Ohio. When does it start? July 11th?
I think the 11th, yeah.
July 11th, and then through the 19th or 18th or 19th one. But anyway, I will be up there for that, and I haven't advertised that I'm going to be up there, but I have been coordinating with the club. They are going to allow me to do some bunker lessons up there, as well as ATA lessons. So if anybody's going to be up there during that time and you want some bunker lessons or ATA lessons, let me know, because I have some open spots. And some of y'all have reached out already asking if I was going to be up there, and I am. So I'm excited to do the bunker.
I think we lost you in the last sentence you said. You said you're excited to what? Still can't hear you.
Hold on.
What did she do? Well, thank you guys. I appreciate the compliments.
Can you hear me now?
What did you do?
Well, everything's unplugged, but I just went, oh, wait, maybe your computer. Should I shut your computer off?
Yeah, that would be the one. But I appreciate it, Jack and Nate. It was a fun week in Georgia. It wasn't as good as it can be, but hey, for not shooting at all, I am happy with it. But But
I would have kicked his butt, y'all. Don't listen to that crap.
yeah, right. Okay, so then how about this? Are you comfortable? Are you comfortable saying what's going to be happening after Ohio?
Ohio, after Ohio, after Ohio. New York?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, well, go ahead.
Well, I'm going to New York with you.
Yeah, but what are you doing in New York?
Why, that's a big secret.
Huh?
I'm shooting the New York State shoot.
Yes.
That's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what are we gonna do there at New York?
Set targets.
Well, I'm gonna be setting targets.
Yeah.
But I mean, what are we doing with the podcast?
Oh, why don't you just ask that question? There's like
because it's more exciting when you announce it, not me. Now we can't hear you anymore.
Oh, well, then you announce it.
Okay. All right. So we are. So Kaylee's coming to New York with me, and we'll be shooting the New York State shoot, and we're going to be doing a live podcast, live at 5, there with you guys. So I'm very excited for that because I think it's going to be really exciting. Hopefully the state's not shut down when we get there.
Figure it out better by the time we get there. Or did you say that?
Can't hear you. Okay. Well.
You really can't hear me? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you really good, but every once in a while it just completely cuts out and I can't hear anything.
I think it's my phone.
Yeah, maybe you should get a new one.
I Googled the new phone, and now my phone has stopped working.
So. Okay, so why don't we do a
do any of y'all have any questions? First of all, how many of y'all listened to the Vision episode that we just released? And if y'all listened to it, do y'all have any questions regarding that episode? Because, as you know, we're kind of launching a Vision series. So, based off the first episode, do you have any questions? And then maybe we could answer some of those a little more in detail if it requires on the next episode.
But for real, you're breaking up. Maybe we'll just cut this one short because the Wi-Fi here is not good enough, and every third word to fifth word that you say goes silent.
Should I just get off and get online and like comment?
No.
What I was saying, if they have any questions from our previous episode, to let us know.
Yes. So why don't we do this just to make this short because I don't like crappy quality videos and it's not going to be very good. So why don't we do, let's say, 10 minutes of a Q&A, and we'll talk about anything you guys want, any questions on anything. The other thing I would remind you guys to do is go on our website and submit some videos, and we'll do a video analysis live at 5 pretty soon because we haven't done one of those for a little while. So I think that would be good. And then I'd like to add, if you haven't yet, definitely check out Dr. Matt Zanis's workout routine that he did for everybody. You can find that on the YouTube video, on the audio versions of the podcast, in the descriptions. So check those out if you haven't gotten it. That's send us some video analysis for the videos because
have y'all tried his workout yet? Has anyone gotten his workout? Because we've gotten some really good feedback on it.
Yeah.
Everybody tried it, and if so, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I have a couple students that actually I have a lot. All my platinum students and a couple other ones that are not platinum students have gotten on that and have noticed a difference. So it'd be interesting to see. Okay, so Caden Fitch has a question. He says, "What do you think will be the best spot to start working on your visual acuity or discipline?" Caden, I'm going to ask for a clarification on what you mean by that because I'm not really 100% sure what you mean by spot. Are you talking about a target, a spot on the target?
Maybe I think it probably just means like, where should I start to train, like to visually train? Where's the spot to start?
What? Yeah, just give us a little clarification. I might be able to answer that question better. Nate, I'm looking forward to it too. I think it's going to be good. Kayle, a lot of people here are commenting that I'm a much better shooter than you.
I highly doubt that. I give you one job while you're on the road.
What's that?
Not to misinterpret the comments.
You can't see the comments, can you?
I can't see the comments, but I know that you're lying about that.
I'm not lying, I swear.
I don't believe that.
Oh my goodness.
I'm still waiting on y'all to get us to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, so David has to do something crazy.
It's not going to happen. Remember, it was in 2 weeks?
I know, but I might like re-up this. I might start this back again.
You can't just sign me up for something that I'm not signed up for.
Well, that's why I would sign you up.
No. Okay, I have an idea, maybe a crazy idea. And I'm going to text it to you, Kayle.
Okay. But, okay.
Nate wants to know, are you going to be in New York after the tournament for the lessons?
Yes.
Okay, just texted you. And then Brett McCraney says, what do you look for when you're setting targets for a tournament? Me personally, I'm looking for a couple things. I'm trying to. I believe in when you're setting birds for a tournament. I want to test you on your ability to move the gun. So the biggest thing that I'm trying to do is create a lot of variability in where you're moving and how you're moving. I want to test your ability to go from something slow to fast, fast to slow, movements that could push you off balance. I want to make you do something that keep you in the gun for a long time to see how well you are, or how good you are at controlling your conscious thought process and not allowing your visual awareness to creep in with the barrel. I'm just going to be doing a lot of things. I'm going to throw birds that look fast but shoot slow, doing stuff with weird angles and transitions, and then I'm going to be playing with the slow, fast, far, close barrier, meaning like throwing. So like for example, if I take a really slow bird but I also make it really close, you're going to have actually a lot faster movement than if you're shooting a far bird that was really fast. So I'm playing with a lot of weird stuff like that. Just try to get you uncomfortable, but mainly what I'm doing is when I set a course, I go to a station, kind of look around, and then I'm going to set on that station what I think that if I went up to it during a tournament, it would make me say, wow, that's really cool. Because at the end of the day, the shooting is all about enjoying yourself and having fun. So that's my plan. Kayle, what are you laughing about?
I was going to say, if I'm there with you while you set targets, you can guarantee there will be at least one fat bird on the course.
Nate says, that's really cool because you're way better looking than him. LOL. Seriously, I'd be honored to meet you. Okay. Did you respond to my text?
I did.
Oh. No, just in general.
For like after this, or
no, like for tonight.
Oh. That kind of interrupts the series.
Well, it's hard to interrupt the series when we haven't started it.
Yeah, last week.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, how about this? How about you tell them what your idea was, and then explain the situation with Dr. Lyons, and see if we want to like take an intermission and do that, or maybe there's a topic regarding the current topic, or maybe there's something that we can do that your idea after the series, and just see what they think.
So you want me to just explain everything you just said?
Yeah.
No, it's no big deal. We'll think of something else. I have an idea. Cool. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna. So Jack wants to know if the eye doctor's on tomorrow. It's been 4 weeks, and we've had some serious problems with getting a mic delivered for him to use for the podcast, and he just got it. And
like 2 days ago.
Yeah, and we
Two, 3 days ago.
because of the time difference of when we are free and when he is free. We're free in the afternoons, he's free in our mornings, and we have not been able to schedule something yet because when we're free, it's basically 2 in the morning for him. So he will be on the next one, but tonight we're going to be taking an intermission from the Vision Series podcast, and we have some other things to talk about that I think would be really interesting, but that's just the way it's going to be. So I'm really looking forward for him to be on the next one, but he's not, unfortunately, going to be on this one. Not much we can do about that, but sorry for everybody that's been waiting for a month and a half for this guy to be on, but it's been, with the...
It'll be worth it.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. It's definitely going to be worth it.
It'll be worth it.
Yeah. So, the other thing is, Kayle, do you have the name? Your dad wants to know when the tacos will be done. Okay, so Jack wants to. Holy cow, we're getting comments fly in. Okay, so Jack wants to explain the training process with the glasses. Okay, so
did Caden ever answer? Verify?
No, he didn't. Oh, he said yes what Kayle said, but I don't know what you said.
He never listened to me. He's just asking, like, in a general sense, how do I get started training? How do I get started vision training? Like, by spot, he means where do I start?
Okay, well, if you understand the question, why don't you answer it? Because I don't understand. Are you talking about where, in relation to the trap, where do I start my eyes, or on the target?
No, he's talking about in relation, how do I get started training my vision? I want to improve my vision. I don't know where to start on how to improve training in my vision.
Oh.
Could be at home, could be Target, could be with synaptic glasses, could be anything. He just wants to know where to start.
Well, I mean, we can both answer this, but I would say for me, the first thing I'm going to do and to start on, if I'm trying to work on my vision, is, 100%. The first thing I'm going to do is work on nutrition and hydration before I start any type of actual ocular muscular training for the eyes. I'm going to be making sure that my eyes are in good condition to do that kind of stuff. So. First thing I would do is change my habits. I'm going to make sure I always carry a water bottle around with me, keep hydrated, pay attention to my sleep schedule, and then I would look at taking some supplements for your eyes. Get on that board. I used to do that a lot, which I, to be honest, have kind of slacked off on, but I do notice a difference. So I do those things, make sure my nutrition, my what I'm eating is good, and then I would start from there and take it into shooting. The easiest thing to do with vision training is test it in shooting. I have a couple drills that I do with myself and my students that I have done for a long time prior to learning what synapse training and synaptic is and that kind of stuff. A lot of that has to do with pushing your mechanical limits to the point of your eyes being the dependent variable on whether or not you hit target. And basically what you're doing is teaching yourself to trust the eyes, do everything correctly, have a very minimalistic mechanical or physical move, but instead supplement all of that with eye work, meaning like taking birds extremely quickly in terms of on the line of the bird, but making your physical movements look very slow and very calm, having a calm mental state, and then basically shooting report pairs where second bird has to be taken in an extremely quick rate after the first, but making sure that it's reliant on 100% visual acuity. So I'm working my eyes to go in and out of focus really fast, from bird to bird in a pair, and then and so I'm doing stuff like that. It's a lot easier to show you than to explain to you on here, but that's a very simple thing you can do without any type of training aids. From there, I would probably go to getting the synaptic glasses, and then maybe if you want to get even more serious, look at going towards getting some of the software that Synaptic creates. Talking with an ophthalmologist that is on their website. You can go to their website. It's pretty cool. Go to their website. You can type in your address and find the closest Synaptic, affiliated ophthalmologist, and then talk to them about it.
So I have 2 drills that if you have access to do this, they're really good. So one is if you have a trap at home, or if you have access to a shooting club that will let you kind of be on your own out there, you can take a spray paint can, do like 3 or 4 different colors, like distinct different colors, so like black, red, white, and maybe green, and spray paint the center of the target, and whatever target you're shooting, you have to move your eyes first and call out the color before you shoot it. It makes your eyes work a little bit harder than what they normally would have to, because not only are they looking at definition on the target, they also have to recognize a color, and it makes it a lot more challenging working your eyes. Also, if you don't have access to that, a really cheap option and very, very beneficial option to use are these they're called hecto sticks, and I have 2 of them. They come in different colors, but they're very affordable, and basically you would replace this with like a tennis ball, like playing catch, and do different eye color drills. So you could, have a partner, toss it up, they call out a color, you have to catch the color. Maybe you do it only with your right hand, only with your left hand, do different drills with this, but this kind of does the same thing as the spray paint and the color target drill. And this is a super efficient and beneficial way to work your eyes. So those would be my 2 recommendations for a starting point. And then, like David said, if you want to do that for a little while and to get more serious, obviously you can make a bigger investment and do these synaptic glasses.
Yeah.
But I will link this. It's called Hecto Stick. I don't know if you can see it.
I can.
But we'll link this in the description box whenever we post this up to YouTube, and we'll also put it on our Instagram and stuff too, so you can go with this. They're pretty cool. I've started using them in training, and I pair them with the Synaptic glasses, just to give it like another element of the challenge. But if you want somewhere to start, there you go. Training tool. Training 101.
There you go. Okay, so Nate says that he goes, since I took my lesson from David, my trap scores have dropped and my 5-stand scores have risen. Is there a reason for that? Kayle, you can answer that. What? Because
David's coaching you in trap.
I never give him a lesson in trap. Nate, there is literally infinite reasons.
There's like an infinity amount of reasons why that can happen.
Yeah. So
Nate, send us a video of you shooting trap, and we'll analyze it on our next live.
Yeah.
Just email it. Send us an email of you shooting trap and versus you shooting 5-stand, and we'll analyze it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it could be something all the way from a mechanical thing with your hands, and if you're, I don't know if you're adopting shooting low gun and trap. It could be an enormous amount of different individual things that are totally unrelated from each other. So yeah, if you could send us a video, that would really help. Let's see. So Jack wants to know, is it self-led? What I wonder what he's talking about.
Is it what?
Self-led,
Is it self-led? The training?
I guess.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know. And then the other question he wants to know is what supplements do you use for the eyes? So this is something that kind of steer away from recommending because I'm not a doctor. And what I would do though, because I mean I know what my doctor told me, and
well, again, this is just what I do. I have no science behind it, but I do have the nutrition facts, and I take the only supplements I will take are really not supplements. I take a lot of like Pedialyte, and I'll mix it with water or something, and then I also take Bomar Nutrition greens, and that has been the best thing for me for my eyes, how I feel, my energy. I don't have a crash during the day. Like I'm not hydrated and have a lot of electrolytes, and then that all goes away, and then I have a crash. Kind of keeps me level throughout the day. But there are different things that I know David uses, but that's what I use.
yeah, I wouldn't recommend a single brand of anything, but I can tell you that if you go talk to your ophthalmologist or call one and ask them if there's a supplement that you can use for your eyes and they recommend something, do that. I can tell you, I forget the name of the one that I use, but it's pretty easy to pick up at. It's pretty easy to pick up at. I think it's called the Vitamin Shop or something like that, or like maybe even a GNC. I've never been in one of those, but you can get them there. And one of the things that I always look for, it's kind of a specific ingredient. It's called lutein, and it basically it just kind of now. Don't think that this is something that you can just take before you're shooting and it makes your eyes better. This is something you have to take as a daily thing, and over time you'll see subtle progress. But check with an eye doctor and ask them, but it does make a difference. Okay, so James Cooper, any way to verify the draw length is correct while shooting? Did some shot cam videos and found that my hold is very low relative to the target line. I don't think that draw length would influence your point of impact. What draw length can influence is in terms of what you would see in a shot cam would be a lot of movement like this, depending on how. But that would also depend on how good your hands were in the move. If your draw length is too short and you're mounting and shooting low gun with a shot cam, you'll probably see more of that move rather than just this move because you're going to have to pull the gun into your shoulder. But stock fitting is all relative. I don't know what your opinion is on this, Kayle, but for me,
I don't think there's any one correct length of pull, draw, however he phrased it, but I think like for me, I wouldn't want the same pull length and trap for sporting clays. So a little bit different.
Oh, I'm an absolute idiot. I'm reading this question as if he's talking about stock measurements, but he's not talking about. He's talking about draw length in relation to how I teach it. Wow, you'd think I'd be able to pick up on that. Okay, so James, the best thing I can tell you is that if you, I'll use my chopstick from dinner. If I take, where's the camera? Okay. If I take the gun, and let's say that I have a vertical point of impact, or a vertical posture, and the, where is this? The corner of this mirror right here is the point of impact that I want to shoot. Okay. I'm going to mount the gun at 45 degrees, totally mounted. I'm going to change my posture so that the point of impact is pointing at where I want it to. which is right there. And then what I'm going to do is, let's say that my whole point, if I'm looking at this from the side, my whole point is halfway down this mirror. So if I bring my if I bring my gun down, not changing this angle from what it sets at when I'm at my point of impact for my break point. So if I dismount, I'm going to go here, here, and then I dismount. If I can dismount without changing this, as I trace the line backwards and go down to my hold point, then mathematically your draw length will be perfect. So basically, just stick to the shot formula, go through that backwards setup routine, and you'll be fine. Okay, so so I guess Kayle, you are going to be doing some observation on Nate shooting trap in New York.
Cool. Can't wait. I'll correct everything David told you on a trap bird.
Cool. All right. Well, why don't we give?
Before we go, the winner of last week's giveaway, reach out to us and send us your email because I don't know if we ever got it or what, but I have your multi.
And not just last week, but also the other guy that won Matt's.
They both have it. I've talked to both of them.
Oh, they sent us the other guy. I know Caden did, but I didn't know the other guy sent us an email.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So last week's winner of the multi-tool.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm. Last week we didn't do it, remember?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that's what I'm thinking of last week's because it's the last one we did. 2 weeks ago, winner of the multi-tool thing, choke tube thing, send us an email so I can ship you your multi-tool.
Yeah. Nate wants to know if he should bring his trap gun.
Do you want to switch guns when you're shooting sporting if a trap bird comes?
No, my question, Nate, I would say if you're struggling with shooting ATA trap while you're using that gun, you bring the gun that you're struggling with on trap.
Bring the gun, yeah. If you want lessons strictly trap, bring your trap gun. If you want lessons on a trap bird and a sporting clays course, bring the appropriate gun for that. So I would say both if you want both, but I'm assuming that you have trouble on trap birds in sporting clays, but I may be wrong, so that answers that.
Very cool. Okay, how does 5 minutes of rapid fire questions sound, and then we're good to go?
Do you think you're capable of reading those quick enough? You did a terrible job reading comments.
I didn't grow up in Arkansas. I can read fast.
Apparently not.
What do you mean?
You might can read fast, but you can't read correctly.
Since when?
Since tonight, apparently.
What do you mean?
See, you've already forgotten.
I never say anything about short-term memory loss.
Huh? What?
Huh? What?
David's answer, if I ask him a question, I could say anything.
What?
Yeah. I could say anything, and his first response is, huh? What? And sometimes I just don't even respond, and then he'll answer. It's like a natural instinct and response.
Okay, so 5 minutes of rapid fire questions, then we're good to go off to record the next episode of Beyond the Podium, releasing tomorrow morning. Nate says he shoots a single barrel Ludic for trap. Do you know what that is, Kayle? They are the coolest guns. You gotta look. Do you have a computer next to you? You can look something up.
Not on Wi-Fi.
How about your?
I'll see it in New York.
No, I got you. I want to see your reaction on stream. Okay, here. I'll send you. Wait.
No, here. I'll look it up.
Okay. Before you type anything in, let me know when you're ready, and I'm going to tell you what to spell.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Oh, wait. What phrase? Okay, now I'm ready.
Okay, so when you go to do this, don't press enter after you type the first word. Okay, so type in LJUTIC space, like the space bar, and then say space gun.
Space gun?
Yeah, Ludic space gun.
Okay. You told me not to hit enter, so.
Oh no, hit enter now.
What is this?
Okay, so that's not what Nate shoots, but it's one of my favorite guns. It's a really cool. Isn't that cool?
Whoa.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
Is that automatic?
I don't know. No, I think it's I think it's like a break open gun.
No, I think it's this one's automatic.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
I don't know how in the world this would break open. It has a chamber. This is
cool.
crazy.
It's cool. So Nate shoots the Ludic mono gun.
Mono gun.
Mm-hmm.
That's what came up in Google.
Right. But the Ludic space gun is one of my favorites. Just a really unique thing. I know. So Nate sent me a picture of it a while ago, and there was one for sale or something, and I almost bought it. They're so cool. Okay. So, let's see. Garrett Fuchs says, "How does your coaching differ from Dan Carlisle or Anthony?"
Mine. I'm assuming or yours.
I'm gonna guess mine because you gave two sporting shooters.
Well, Dan Carlisle coaches bunker too, so I didn't know. And I think Anthony does as well, so I didn't know.
Right.
Mine's a quick answer. For me, both of them shoot very handsy and off the flash, kind of like what I talked about in our last episode of On the Vision. So those would be two good examples of them, or people who shoot the flash. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go listen to our last episode because I explained the whole thing.
For me, I can't say I've ever taken a lesson from Dan or Anthony. I've taught with Anthony in clinics before. Him and I have done that together, but I don't really know how he teaches. I would say though that both of those guys. You know what? Honestly, I can't answer that question, Garrett. I'm sorry because I don't have enough information about how they teach, and I would not want to differentiate myself in a way that could be incorrect, and I don't want to misrepresent Anthony or Dan. I don't want to say how they teach or what's different. I have no idea. I can't tell you. I'm sorry, but I have no. If you want an answer to that question, if you're looking to get coached by one of us, I can talk to. I'll have a conversation with Anthony, and I can give you a good answer to that. Why does Game Board not sell black gold and just Starkstorm shells in the U.S.? So, JB, the reason for that has to do with a licensing deal for the Gordon Hull system, and we are not allowed to sell that in the United States. So they are not allowed to import it in the United States. But that's all. Let's see. I saw another question, but I think it just got deleted. Oh, how was the Game Board clinic? So the Game Board clinics were good. Very interesting. I've never taught with Kevin and Michael before, and it was fun. This guy named Paxton Wallace wants to know if we're dating.
Who's that?
I don't know.
Wasn't he a guest on our podcast?
I feel like he was, but I can't remember.
No, we're just good friends.
Okay, so Garrett was talking about sporting. Yeah, sorry. I would love to answer that, and I think I have an answer for that question, Garrett, but I don't want to misrepresent one of my friends. I can't. I don't want to make them look bad or not teach what whatever. I can find out for you if you want to know. Mitch Himes says, how do you focus on the bird you want to shoot on a true pair where the birds don't separate very far and both are in your vision? Well, I guess you don't really shoot two birds at one time.
I don't, but I would apply my knowledge off. My answer would be it would take a lot of discipline with your eyes and like a lot of training with your eyes to be able to not rush through the shot and stay focused on one task at a time. So like being able to stay on the first target you want to shoot and then transition over into the second target, and even though they're a true pair, treat them as two separate shots. So that would kind of be my thinking behind it, or how I would approach it. I would take one target at a time.
While you were talking, I was trying to look something up. It has to do with how close your eyes can focus in between.
Well, I'm assuming that there was no visual problems.
Yeah.
Assuming there's no eye dominancy issues and like your eyes crossing when the targets are close together or something like that, that would be my answer.
Here's a really interesting thing, and it's actually it's kind of mind blowing. I want you to, if any of you guys are watching this and you're next to a pen or a piece of paper or something you can draw with, or if you can find two things, just look at your hand and look at the fingerprint on your finger, and I want you to go from like one crease to the next, the one right next to it. Look at one and look at the next one. In a measurable way, I would say you're talking about the difference of, I don't know, 20% of 1 millimeter. Okay? Do that same thing if you hold your hand as far out as possible and look from one crease to the next, or find two dots on your wall that are right next to each other, or look up in your ceiling, whatever. If you're looking at that and you go from one to the next, can you feel your eyes moving? Because most everybody that's doing this will be able to say yes. And so the interesting thing is that most people don't realize that you can, I was trying to find on my phone the degree of separation that you can focus on something with your ocular, like in your ocular center of your vision, and I couldn't find it quickly enough, but it's something that's ridiculous. It's extremely small.
Well,
And
Dr. Lyons.
What's that?
Dr. Lyons.
I'm sure he would. It would be interesting to talk to him about it. But so the question does not have to do with it's not impossible. Basically, what we have to understand is what influences our vision. Because if you can look at one thing to the next thing and they're extremely close together, if there's no pressure involved, or if there's not anything like that influencing the way your conscious thought is happening, that influences the way your vision works, you can do it. So the question is, why can't I when I'm shooting? So I would say best thing to do is understand, just stay calm. There's no difference on whether or not they're clay targets or if they were just two things right next to each other on the wall. You can focus on one and then the other, and just don't feel rushed. Don't understand, consciously what's happening, emotionally what's happening, physiologically what's happening, and try to get to a baseline of those three things that is very controllable and very low in terms of calmness. But that's a great question for Dr. Ed Lyons. Duke, thank you, Duke. I appreciate the compliment. He said I'm just like, again, another guy telling me how much better of a shooter I am than you.
I don't believe it.
No, he was just talking about some of my shooting in Georgia.
Oh.
We got Let's do 2 more minutes of rapid fire questions. Then we are out of here. On a quick true pair, how do you make your eyes see detail on the second target after you break the first? It seems like the second bird is always blurry. I would say that it's that you know you got to understand how long it takes your eyes to visually titrate. And if you're pulling the trigger in a time frame that's shorter than what your eyes require, then you're never going to see detail on it. And the problem is with sporting clay is that sometimes a pair is set up and it requires you to pull the second trigger quicker than you're able to acquire visual acuity, 100% visual acuity.
I would say too, a huge part in that, you don't know how your eyes are going to perform until you put them to that test. So if you're having trouble on a pair that requires your eyes to be super aggressive like that, you have to understand a couple different things. One, it goes back to nutrition and hydration. Are you fueling your eyes for them to be able to perform that way? And two, are you training your eyes to be able to perform that way? Because that would kind of be like me expecting my body to do something that it needs to do that it hasn't trained for. It doesn't know how to do it. So your eyes are a muscle as well. So in order for them to be able to go latch onto something quick and then jump over to something else quick in a target that requires you to shoot really fast, if your eyes are unfamiliar with that move, you're never going to be able to have that clarity on probably either target, but I know your concern is the second target. So you have to look at how you're training your eyes for that. Are you shooting that at all in practice and working on that? Because you can't expect your eyes to do something that they're not familiar with and that you're not training on.
So your dad said, he looked this up or probably just knew it. He said you can focus on one thing at a time as long as you have about 4/1000ths of an inch between the two objects. But he said, but if they're only 4/1000ths of an inch apart, just clubhouse them.
That's a good point.
Yeah. This is from Haas, how do you keep track of the target presentations in a game like 5-stand, where you move from stand to stand and do not get to see showbirds?
I struggle with that one. I have to watch everybody else's targets.
Yeah, so the biggest thing that I'm doing, a lot of people will teach you not to pay attention in 5-stand until it's your turn to shoot. But I'm looking at every bird thrown because
I look at every single bird.
Yeah, every single bird.
And I hope that like somebody in the 4 people before me are getting a bird that I'm shooting,
exactly.
So I can watch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that would be dumb not to. What would be the reason you wouldn't do that?
Right. Yeah. And so that's what I do. I'm looking at every bird in between the 2 times that I shoot, and I'm trying to get some type of visual reference for what's going to come. Other than that, I mean that's pretty much a trick. Apart from shooting a lot, and then being able to read a machine without seeing the target go, and if the birds are set to where you can see, then it's pretty much that. But I would say, Haas, this is the best explanation to this is like, I mean I know, I know what you do for a living, and so I know that you have to be pretty educated in that. So I would assume that you've taken tests before in your life, and you've probably had to memorize things, and it's like just the same thing. So, if you don't put the effort into trying to memorize the birds and the presentations, then when you get to the next station, you're going to be confused as to where it's going, what it looks like, all that kind of stuff. So, just work on inventorying. What's a good word for that? Putting into inventory the presentation, so that when you get to the next station or the next stand, that you have some type of visual reference point for it.
You can also get there earlier than when you're supposed to shoot if you have the time and watch the slide before you.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, anything you'd like to add, Brownie?
I think so. Winner of last week's or 2 weeks ago's, our last live, the winner, send us an email.
Cool. All right. Yeah, thank you guys a lot. Thanks for showing up. This was cool. We had a lot of viewers on this one, and we didn't even post it anymore.
Well, we were scattered.
Yeah.
Pretty bad all week.
Cool. All right. Well, look, a lot of you guys watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in like what is it? 2 weeks? 2 weeks maybe. If you guys are going to be at the SETP shoot at Cardinal Center, let us know. I'll be teaching at Eagle's Nest there for a week, and I haven't advertised it really that much because I'd like to be hanging out at the SETP shoot and you know, networking a little bit. But if any of you guys are in town and want to get something in prior to the New York State shoot, great place to practice is where I have my own personal traps prior to moving down to Arkansas. So I'll be there for a week and have a lot of availability. So cool.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Adios. And sorry, no transition out on this one because I don't have much set up on this laptop. So